1, 2. Here we go. It's my time to rise.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest talk radio show around, providing an open discussion for some of the most important social issues and trending topics today. From personal growth or spirituality to sex and relationships, no subject is ever taboo. So prepare to be empowered, enlightened, and entertained during another episode of the award-winning Let's Face It with Will Strayhorn and Friends. Real people, real topics, real talk.
Gotta do it, and won't let nothing hold me down. Gotta do it, because I may not get another chance. I believe it.
Thank you for listening to Let's
How you doing, my girls? Rhonda, Arrington, and Capris, Elmore.
There it is.
Welcome to the team, Mr. Kavon Robinson.
Yeah. What's up, Kavon?
Thank you for joining. And of course, we have Miss Nikki Curry. Hey, boo.
Hey.
The one and the only.
It's been a long summer.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's been a long summer and everything, you know. How was your summer?
Well, my summer was long,
Long.
very long, but
When was it long?
it was a transition in summer. Some newness and different things was going on in my life. I got a new job. I'm sure it is shareable. They go to a little monarch bear.
The ODU.
Is it a bear? What is it? It makes me a little nervous. Oh, a lion. Monarch. A lion. There it is. All right now.
So you got a new
Big
job.
blue.
Tell us about this job.
Well, I'm in the words of Savannah from Waiting to Excel, I took a pay cut to see if I had what it takes to produce. I really didn't take a pay cut, but it's just an administrative job at a school.
Don't say just.
It's a job.
It is. Well, I say just because I always say just, but I really appreciate it. It's low key, different than what I normally do. I'm in the background.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be to stay in the background.
I've been able to do so.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You only been there a day.
24 minutes. Yeah.
What about you, Capris?
My summer
You
was
were the
good.
red bottoms.
Yeah, my summer was good. It was excellent. What I do? I got a new job as well.
Did you?
Okay.
Yes,
Tell us about it.
I am now the program coordinator for Loving Steps program with EVMS.
All right.
So I've been there 3 days now.
All right now.
You said loving steps.
Loving Steps is Healthy Start Initiative. Loving Steps. It helps women with their pregnancies, make sure they going to the doctor, make sure they're doing well, so that they won't have a low birth rate.
Oh, okay.
And we follow them from birth until the child is 2 years old. So it's a good program. We give Pampers out, we give clothes out, we go to their house. It's a home visiting program. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
My summer, it was short. I'm back in school, working on this degree.
The masters,
Papers
right?
due.
Yeah, it's nothing
Every
but
time
papers
I
in the
turn
masters.
around,
Right.
in school, it's 8-week semesters. So
Yeah.
It's like cramped.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm learning a lot about myself, about life coaching, about
Yeah.
in general. Don't know if I like people anymore.
Oh no.
Good luck.
It's
Right.
a lot.
So, Will, what is this? Like your 18th degree? Because I
This
mean,
is my 17th.
yeah.
Trying not to pay back them loans.
Yeah. Yes. But it's a lot been going on in the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, a whole-
Our last was in July.
Yeah, I think it was the begin. Was the
Yeah.
end or the
And
beginning?
I know your president's been very active.
Yes.
I hear a lot about your president, number 45. He did finally go to Puerto Rico.
And threw Dollar General paper towels at her.
Wasn't that-
One ply.
That was one.
You said
One ply.
Jeez, but I mean, he's been really active.
It is.
So
I like the
he-
fact that they gave him a new name, 45. Nobody wants to say his name. Nobody wants to associate with that brand. It's just 45.
I would just
Right.
I quit.
He's not going to quit because I don't think he thinks that he's unsuccessful.
It's not possible.
I listen.
Well, at least he slowed down from playing Apprentice. Nobody's been fired in the last 2 months.
Everybody been quitting the White
Right.
House.
He don't got to fire him.
Quitting.
Right.
Resigning.
Stuff we never even heard of, you know.
Yeah.
But, one great thing has come out of all of this. Sister Maxine has definitely come up and
Yeah, she said her popularity.
yes, it is. You know,
It is.
she has
Reclaiming my
memes,
time.
right?
My time.
She got shirts, right?
She got a gospel hit too.
She do, she
The
do.
guy came on the view and sang.
He came on the view and he sang it, you know, and she got the spirit. It was
Reclaiming my time.
that's right. And she said,
T-shirt.
"Black people,
What does that mean? Oh, yeah, she was upset.
won't she?" She
Yeah,
said,
was
"We
upset.
need to be uncomfortable."
Because she mean by reclaiming her time was back in the days, you know, she was doing what she had to do, then she went low key. Now it's like, they was like, well, you're back again. No, I'm reclaiming the time that I lost. I'm reclaiming my time again.
Right.
This is
And-
my time.
And it's also a term used when you're on the floor and you're in the session and something happens and whatever may go on and it could be your time to speak because they all have designated times to speak. And if that time passes by, you can reclaim that during another time. And so she exercised that, like, be quiet. I'm reclaiming my time. Yes.
Yeah. I got the T-shirt, so hey.
You got a T-shirt?
Sure did.
What about the y'all messed up our budget comment? Did you hear when he said that?
Yes. How do you? That's like going to
Well,
someone.
number one, he didn't know that they were a part of the United States.
Right.
I was getting ready
Who
to
does
call her Sarah
that?
Palin.
Who does that? Who?
Sarah Palin and him.
Right. But she didn't become president.
Russia.
You know.
Backyard.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
It's just terrible.
It's a lot going on with our president, but you know we can do a lot of talking, a lot of joking and complaining, but until he is removed, and a lot of things he's doing, he can be arrested for and spend real time, but no one is willing to. People are doing a lot of mouth service, but I don't see
They
anyone.
have- I don't know. If
I don't think they have a valid reason
Maxine's
yet.
willing.
Yeah.
She's
But
willing.
Do they have enough information? There has to be
They
something
do.
that is-
There's certain things that he's already done that just in the words he's spoken,
They warrant impeachment?
more than impeachment, they warrant federal prison.
Really?
Yes.
He's not He's not doing anything illegal. He's just not doing it presidential.
Oh no! He's done some. He has said some illegal things.
Educate us.
They would have fired. They would have impeached him by
Pop quiz.
now.
No, but it's their choice. It's their choice.
Well, maybe we need
I-
to hire a woman to put him in there like Clinton and get this thing going.
Right. I don't know. You know, nobody. I don't.
know he ain't messing with.
I
his
think
wife.
we had a different opponent, and maybe we wouldn't have had him. I hate that I brought this up because now I can't remember the exact thing, but I believe it has something to do with something that he mentioned with the flag, and some of the things in regards to that those words are as a crime.
Okay.
I have to next time I'm on the show, so it'll have to be recent. In the near future, I'll tell you what it is.
Well, I'm sure it'll still be going on.
It will.
Yeah. It'll still be relevant.
It will.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
let's move towards a hot topic. You know, Mary, the group Shackles.
Yes.
Shackles off my feet.
That's an old hit. They done had so many hits since then, Will.
Well, okay. But Tina Campbell, you know, she said earlier this year she had did an article that she really didn't like either two of the candidates
That's
that
right.
were running for president. So she was trying to look for somebody that she could relate to, and she said that she voted for Donald Trump because of his good Christian upbringing and his values. So I just wanted to know, because I know that you are a minister, I know that
I am.
you're preaching, yes, and I wanted to know, has he ever spoken at your church? with
Well,
his
you
Christian
know,
values?
the good Reverend Do No Good Trump, unfortunately, has not been in our parish. Listen, people, if you voted for Trump, just say I voted for Trump because I prefer Trump over Hillary, or whatever reason. But when you are in the position that she's in as a gospel artist, I'll say two things. We assume that she has an understanding of what a Christian means. So it confuses people when she says of his Christian values. Nothing about what Donald Trump says or does says he has Christian values. And so that's one thing. You have to be careful because people are holding on to everything that you say. But Mary, Erica and Tina Campbell both are controversial in the sense in the Christian community. A lot of people... Their contemporary style, the way Erica dresses sometimes, you know, the trap music, when Erica came out with, you know, You Don't Love God, Luh, You know, I mean, so they're different. They have their own way of doing things, and sometimes people I think, are going too far left. She's not a minister, and I'm not saying that if she was a minister, it'll be okay, but she's not a minister. You know, she has never proclaimed that what comes out of her mouth is the gospel. It's what she feels comfortable. Maybe she feels what he says and what he does is Christian value. So I don't think it's our place to judge her, but I think she has to be careful.
I think she's trying to take the heat off of her from that issue with her and her husband.
Well, that issue's been gone though. You talking about their the infidelity?
Exactly.
They lived that out. She burned up some stuff. She burned up some stuff on his car, to be exact.
Yeah.
On TV.
I think they just need to pay attention to each other because they did call out Erica because Erica did go on the radio saying, "Look, y'all keep bringing this up. This is old news." She said this a long time ago in an article.
Whose husband was it, Erica or Tina's?
Tina's.
So I'm talking about with the Trump. We're talking about the 45. And she said, my sister never said it's Christian values. So somebody called her out this week and said, you need to read the article. Yeah. Then your sister did say,
right.
You know, Christian values. So she's trying to take it for her sister without even reading the article. I understand taking her sister, but know the facts.
You know, in that article, when she first said it, and now she's coming out trying to clarify more of what she meant.
Exactly.
You know, it came out during the election that she was going to vote for Trump. And personally, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know,
use your platform for something else.
Right.
We don't
you know
that.
You know, yeah. I mean,
it wasn't like they were selling that much anyway.
So,
well, Tina wasn't. Erica was. Because she the one who had the album out.
Right. You know, the Marys just, you know, Martha, don't you moan. Bless their heart.
But Angela Rye, who is dating
Common.
Yes.
She's a political activist. She's called now for people to boycott Mary. How do you feel about that?
Well, this is what I feel. I feel it is stupid, and it is absolutely stupid to ruin somebody's livelihood because of who they politically support. It's the same thing with the inauguration when people were like, "Oh, who was it, Cressette Michelle?"
Yeah.
You know, we're not gonna listen to Cressette anymore. Leave these people alone. Y'all are doing nothing to cripple the person who we all have the common dislike for, which is President Trump. You know, and you want to mess with everybody like Steve Harvey. I'm not a fan of Steve Harvey, but who cares? Why we got to stop listening to his radio show? Why we got to stop supporting Steve Harvey? And by we, I just mean the collective we, not necessarily me. I think it's a coward way to act. I think it's a bullying way to act when you want to stop people's way of making their money. We live in a country where you can say whatever. Ignorant, smart, biased, racist, prejudice. You know, black people need to stop attacking black people and attack where the issues really are.
But people do have to understand that this is a world where everything is on perception and judgment. No,
right.
It doesn't want to be. But to me, whatever you put out your mouth, you got to be able to stand back.
Yeah, I was reading because anchor woman here in this area, Barbara Sierra, she made a comment. I posted this story, and she made a good comment. So, you know what? We want to hear from you guys. If you want to call in at 757-683-4405. Barbara Sierra said, if we have learned anything during this political cycle, it's that free speech is not free.
Right.
Once you declare your beliefs, you run the risk of losing fans on one side or the other. You just need to be sure and stand strong with what you declare and let the chips fall.
And I agree with that. There's consequences, but I disagree with people who want to go out their way to make sure people lose a fan base or make sure people lose money. That's my issue. Because you're right. There are consequences
to what you say.
To what you say. And that's the caveat of freedom of speech is that you're not free from consequence.
True. Okay.
Platform. Just know your platform. Use it wisely.
Right.
That's it.
But, okay, so even with us having this platform, do you think, so like if something was to come up and someone was to hear us talking about number 45, do you think that we should be held responsible for what we said?
Yes. Why not? What makes us different?
Exactly. We still on the airwaves.
Okay. Right.
We still opened our mouth.
Why then don't you believe that they should boycott her then? if they're holding her responsible.
It's not their place to hold her responsible for what? They're holding her responsible for her opinion. The consequence is if someone hears her opinion, if they don't like it, then they have the choice to do whatever they want to do. But I don't think she has. I think it's silly, and I think dating common must not be enough for her to get notoriety. And so, she needs something else to put her name out there, because I didn't know who she was until she dated Common. And I still didn't know. I just knew she was the little light-skinned girl on his arm. So I just feel like, stop the hating. If we're not trying to help, then back up.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, Tamar Braxton. I love Tamar.
I love Tamar.
I'm a Tamartian.
I'm a Tamartian.
So she announced that this is her last CD. She's quitting music. I remember when she first came out, even on the show, because I was a fan of the show for a while, and she was just saying how much she really loved singing, and she's always wanted to do it. Did you know there was a group called the Braxtons?
Yes.
I had their CD. Yeah, it was a really nice CD.
It was.
That was the first time I was introduced to Tamar Braxton.
That's when Tawanda didn't look so Tawanda-ish.
Still don't, but okay.
Back then.
Money do wonders, don't it?
She was. It was a little bit different.
It was a little different.
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember when they had the little half tops and the jeans?
Yeah.
You remember?
Did she have short hair?
I think she had short hair. I think that's what.
The long hair really softened some things. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Platform. Okay.
Right.
That's our word, platform.
Right.
So this is what she said. Tamar Braxton will say goodbye to pop stardom in order to save her marriage to Vincent Herbert. She said, there's a lot of things that are going on in my relationship, and me being close to the music industry, and whatever I can do to eliminate all of the stress and problems off of my relationship, I would rather do that. My husband and I work very close together, and it's really hard, Braxton added. Not only do we work together, he's my baby daddy, and, we've been together forever. He's my best friend. It's a lot to discuss and argue about. So it seems like it's a lot that's not being said. But I want to know, both of you are very passionate about your platforms. What would you do? What would you especially do if your husband, you had to choose between your career that you love and your husband, your marriage?
Wait a minute now. Well, the thing, I had my career before I got married. But see, the thing I think what the issue is, you know how they say you're mixing business and pleasure. There's always an issue with that. Like they say, don't cheat with somebody you work with. Don't marry. Don't do it. Yeah. As the dealers used to say back in the days, don't crap where you live at. That's just what it does. And
I understood nothing that you just said. What?
Well, dealers back in the days, they know New York dealers. They always say don't. When you do business,
don't get high on your own.
So what? The problem was her being married to her producer.
I don't think it has nothing to do with where they work at. It has something to do with themselves.
The marriage.
Oh, okay. Because no matter what industry you're in, if you being true to your marriage, who cares? I know. Don't judge. I know 2 strippers now that have good marriages.
Exotic dancers.
Oh, sorry. Platform. Exotic dancers that do well and they go home and have good lives. Okay.
That's true.
So, and their husbands pick them up, their husbands drop them off. What do your business, your industry have to do with you being faithful to your marriage? Nothing.
I agree. I think it's a lot that's not being said. There were infidelity rumors and things like that on both their behalf.
Well, because of my platform, I'm going to reserve not to say my comment about Vince. But
what Vince? Okay.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
Sign language.
I might say it anyway. But here's my take on this. I agree with everything what Capris is saying. Here's the thing. I don't think it's the industry. I think this is what Tamar is saying. I think Tamar is saying that because Vincent is not giving up his job. I think she is saying she has not been adequately putting her marriage, her husband in the right priority. And so she is leaving the thing that she has put in front of him.
Oh, okay.
And so that's what I think she's saying. Because
that makes sense.
And I think anyone should.
Well, she should be saying, I'm taking a break.
I think,
to
but she did
reprioritize
come back and
things.
clarify that because she was on.
Well, she said she wasn't going to.
She said
she's gonna still sing. She's just not gonna do any
continue
more
her tour.
albums.
She just
Right.
they're just going on.
Well,
tour.
I don't believe that because their family is notorious for retiring and coming back, you know, and saying I'm
Bills,
gonna,
bills, bills.
you know,
This is what she always wanted to do.
right.
Yeah.
But like you said, she
And-
put that before her marriage.
And I think that's what we have to understand when you are married, when you are in a covenant. There is a priority that your spouse has, and nothing should come
I
before
never learned
them.
that one.
You didn't learn that one. And if you are putting something in the way of that priority,
Right.
then you need to fix that. You
Okay.
do.
That
And
makes sense.
so,
Well, since we can segue into the little thing I got.
Oh yeah, segue.
The lovely heart,
Right.
Mr. Kevin. Okay, so people were saying that his wife should leave him. First
Why?
of all, she's not leaving that money.
Why?
That's number one. But another thing is, regarding cheating, I don't think I would leave either because I'm just not leaving. But the thing with cheating, I'm fine if I don't have to see it. Because
Oh,
you
are
see
you?
the tape. I mean, I probably can get over it. I probably can get over it. Not saying I probably can.
You're
But
fine
to
if it
see
happens, or you're fine if that happens on a regular basis.
If it happened and
You-
we work through
Okay,
it. But
okay.
to have a videotape and have to see you, I don't know if anybody's seen the tape.
Yeah,
but
it's
you
4
actually
minutes.
See
it was only 4 minutes.
everything going on. I'm not gonna be able to visualize you keep doing that.
Right.
I gotta get rid of my Android. I couldn't pull it up. But
Yeah, and that's the thing. So it's like with the money, with everything going on, it's like. So did the industry mess up his marriage as well?
no, let us not forget that wife number 2 came as a result of
wife number-
Yeah.
infidelity of wife number 1. You know, and so wife number 2, if I was wife number 2, to save face, I'm not going anywhere because you have everyone in your ear saying, "What did you expect?" You know, he did it to the first one. Why would you think what made you different? Because see, when that's a habitual thing, there's something deeper than it don't got nothing to do with how she look, because she bad. So it don't got nothing to do with that. You know, it had nothing to do with what she can bring to the table or she can't bring to the table, because she even gives him a step up. It's something going on with Kevin.
And then that hurts when the men say, you know, people say, "Oh, well, men would change their stripes." This shows that they not. And
Why don't
Tori's sitting back right now, sipping some tea, like, "Yeah, go ahead, girl."
Right.
Because I did the same thing you did.
Right. And you know, and then that apology, that thing said, I'd rather just go ahead and be honest and pay all this money. I mean, so if he wasn't being extorted, you know, did I say the word right? Extorted. Then
When he came out.
then I think it would have still continued. But that brother needs to go and get help. Because it doesn't matter how many marriages that he has. It doesn't matter how many people he may or may not cheat on, until Kevin Hart or any man, any woman, until you address what is lacking and what is empty while you're doing whatever that is.
No, that's true.
It's going to continue.
We did our first taping of our video show, Live with Will Strayhorn and Friends. And that was a question that came up. We were talking about the Kevin Hart
I
situation.
wanted to be there.
And we posed the question, you know, have we ever cheated? People ever cheated? And of course, I kept it real. But, you know, like you were saying, there are issues. I know that I have issues that I
Right.
deal with that when those very rare situations come about, I know that they're addressing the issue that I need to deal with.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like that was very true.
Yeah. So do you believe the woman did not know Kevin Hart was married?
No, she knew.
Who in the world don't know Kevin Hart?
She said
Kevin,
she did not know until the second night. She said she didn't know he was married. She didn't know he was wife was pregnant.
Well, how long have they been married? I think
A
it hasn't
year,
even been a
a
year
year,
yet. I
a
don't think
year.
has it.
Oh yeah, they've been married a year now. But she said she didn't know. She didn't know anything about him being married to the second night.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that?
no. I mean, I think that's dumb. it's so foolish. You did it, girl. You got caught. He gonna have more to heat than you do, you know. But don't pretend he's too big of a name. This is one of the first comedians that has endorsements. You know, he's sitting there endorsing a Ford Explorer. You know, Kevin Hart is everywhere, and so there's no way in the world you didn't know that Kevin Hart was married or attached, or even know who Kevin Hart was.
But there's nobody. I didn't see any endorsements being taken away from him yet. You know, so I didn't see anything.
They don't care anymore.
No, I don't think they care.
I don't think they care
It's
anymore.
too much going. 45 got everybody's attention.
Right. It's not big enough for them to
Yeah.
take his endorsements away. And
It's not. It's
No.
a tape.
I mean, but
I don't think his
he's
scandal
Kevin Hart,
is big
but
enough.
he's yeah.
And it was 4 minutes, man.
No, they may get him on that.
Right. and you know, Nikki
Where's
just
the,
said
hopefully, where's the rest of the
it wasn't
tape?
R. Kelly. But y'all remember when R. Kelly came here, his ticket sales did not fall.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
they
people
did.
packed.
They
Yes, they
did.
did.
They did.
Yes, they
He
did.
said he'll never come back here again.
Oh, that's blessed.
It was
That's a
good
blessing.
riddance.
Was it?
Platform. All right, we're going to
Look
take a
at
quick
God.
break. We're going to take a quick break. We have coming up Mr. Vernon L. Brown, our first guest. He's from Richmond, actually. He's a happiness and success coach from What's Your Happy. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Listening to Let's Face It with Will Strayhorn and friends. We'll be right back.
Have you seen Dr. Roberts about that sore in your mouth?
Nah, I'm sure it'll go away.
But it's been weeks. It could be oral cancer.
Mouth cancer?
Yeah, I read that it's more common in African American men than in any other group.
All right. I'll make an appointment.
Do you have a tough guy in your house? Make sure he sees a doctor or dentist if he has a sore in his mouth that lasts more than 2 weeks. If it is oral cancer, it can be treated more successfully if it's caught early. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services National Institutes of Health.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna like fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
You're now listening to Let's Face It with Will Strayhorn and friends. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. Season 6 premiere in the studio with my girls Rhonda and Capris.
Yes.
We have Mr. Kavan. He's doing an awesome job.
He is.
Awesome job. Welcome to the team. Nikki. And we also have our videographer for our new video show that's coming out on YouTube, hopefully by the end of October. And it's his birthday, right? Happy birthday, Shabazz. Yeah, okay, so while we're waiting for our first guest to call in, I have a question.
Yes.
So a friend of a friend was given a card for their birthday, and there was nothing in it. No cash, no gift card, nothing. Can you give someone a card for their birthday with nothing in it? And then if so, what's the point? Is a card considered a gift? Is being thoughtful a gift? You know, what is it?
Oh, my, when did we become this society
About
we're
10 years.
So materialistic. Yeah, I mean, cards. Remember when they had creator cards or the mahogany cards? Most cards say really great things. Some are funny.
Now, do you select
words.
your cards or just grab a card and go?
Oh, no, I always select.
Okay.
Except for this one particular person in my life, and I will not say who it is. You know, I'd always go to the dollar store to get a 50-cent card. and I try to find a blank one so I can just put...
Whatever the occasion is.
Right, because nothing that the card say really fit.
What about you?
Well, I like cards. I'm a card person. I give cards all the time, cards and currency. Now, my husband don't like cards because he feel like it's a waste of money. You could just tell him what you need to tell him. So this year, our anniversary just passed. I didn't get him a card. I didn't feel bad because if I would have got it, trust me, I have given him cards and they still in the envelope sitting on the dresser. And then I get mad. But all my cards, I keep every card he gave me.
I'm not really a card person.
I love
because they say good words. They say words,
and
they got some good cards now. It's not like back in the day.
But do you save them?
I save all my cards.
So you have a big box somewhere with a whole bunch of
cards for my kids. Well, you know, I gotta work.
Well, I don't save them because my mama say papers draw roaches, so I don't like to keep a lot of stuff around. But
platform.
Yeah. But I feel like cards are. One of my love languages is words of affirmation. So I love words, and so I'm so particular about a card that I'll give. It'll be rare that it'll have money or a gift card in it, unless my sister bullies me. But I mean, other than that, but I love words. I love to show people. I like to find cards that say how I feel about them, and if it doesn't say it enough, then I'll add my own words, but. And I love when people to give me cards that say something really nice.
And then I'm liking now that they have the mahogany cards. That's where I go straight to. Our African American cards, because those going to say everything. I mean, they even got child support cards. They got a lot of cards nowadays on everything. So I love
the child support cards say you forgot something.
You forgot this month. But I still love you. They have a lot of different cards. I just feel like, it's like we just got to do it. I think cards. Everybody should always give a card, a encouragement. It's just like leaving a little note, something. Right. Now, for my kids, sometimes I give cards for their birthday, but I do put money in them, but I put their age. So my daughters, when she turns 18, I put $18 in it, and I put the laws of the land of Virginia, a guideline so they can follow all the laws. Because now you turn 18, mama can't come help you no more. You got to know all the laws that you're responsible for. So I put that. My daughter just turned 19 last week. I gave her $19.
Nobody want that as no gift.
Yes, you do, because mama can't come.
You done depressed me.
Yes, you do.
Hello, 18. Clink, clink.
18.
At age 18,
18.
You can get arrested.
You can get arrested. That's right. You still can't drink.
Oh.
I think cards, especially there's so much cards to choose from nowadays. Go get your African American cards.
And they have cards for money. The little rectangle one where you can put money in or you can put a gift card in. I think it's I don't think we should expect to have money in cards or gift cards in cards. You know.
Well, I need to tell a little quick story. I know my friend's probably going to be a little hot right now, but for my birthday this year, I didn't want anything. I wanted them to donate to a fund.
I'm seeing a lot of that on Facebook.
Right. I want them to donate to Big Brother, Big Sister money for their kids' bowl. However, at my birthday dinner, I got 2 gift cards from 2 different friends. Both of them was a gift card to the movies. A $25 movie gift card. So I had $50 worth of movies. What am I supposed to do with this?
Go to the movies, Capris.
No.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you. And I'm saying, okay, I thought I asked to be, a donation, but I got $25. It took me a long time to use the movie tickets.
Right.
I don't like people to tell me what they want.
You got to know who the person you're giving a gift to as well.
They said have to take my husband or go, but I'm not at the movies that much.
$50 worth of
$50 worth of it. Both my good
But
friends.
it's gonna cost like $20 just in one sitting though. You get your jujubes, your popcorn.
I did take my grandkids, but yeah, I just like that's a gift card that
Okay.
I appreciate it, but
Well, Gabrielle Union, everybody knows Gabrielle and Dwayne Wade. So she has a book coming out called "We're Going to Need More Wine." She looks really beautiful on the cover. But she was basically, how they always reveal a lot of their secrets and things that they're dealing with to promote the book.
I'm gonna come out with a book.
You who?
I'm gonna write a book as well.
Oh.
And tell all my secrets.
Oh.
I don't have many.
Thank you so much for telling us that. Thank you. But Gabrielle Union, she says that her and Dwayne Wade have been trying to conceive, and they've had 8 to 9 miscarriages. She said, for 3 years, my body has been a prisoner of trying to get pregnant. She said, I've either been going into the IVF cycle, in the middle of the IVF cycle, or coming out of the IVF cycle. She said she's spoken about IVF previously, but she's never revealed the heartbreak and struggle that she's had to go through. And she says it's really, really bad because a lot of people always ask, when the kids are going to come and stuff like that, and that's really bad.
And IVF, for those who are listening, is in vitro.
Because you're so smart. Go ahead, and what is it?
In vitro fertilization. In vitro.
In vitro that's IVF.
Yes.
All right. Good job. All right. I want you to work on that thing with Clinton, with Trump, though.
I will.
Those questions.
I
45.
will.
All right.
Don't bring it up again.
But she said even after enduring 3 years of the failed cycles and being constantly bloated from the hormones, she says that her and Dwayne are still, they're still looking forward to having the baby that they've dreamed of. So I want to know, this is kind of personal. What's the biggest disappointment you've ever had to deal with?
as far as having a baby.
No, just
life.
in life. In life. If it's a baby, if you got something, who's that?
Okay, well,
What's the biggest
I'm
disappointment?
so glad we're on the air, not on
Platform,
TV.
yeah.
Platform.
Anything?
I think the biggest disappointment of my life, what I love most about Let's Face It, is that we do get transparent. The biggest disappointment that I've had to deal with thus far has been my marriage.
Okay.
So.
Really?
Yes.
Are you still in it?
Almost out.
Okay.
But yes, I'm still in it.
Big disappointment. What about you?
My first marriage wasn't a disappointment. It wasn't a disappointment. It was a lesson. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was time to go. So, I mean, the biggest disappointment I think I got had to deal with education. I got what society said I'm supposed to have, and to me, I don't feel that it's serving its purpose yet.
Oh.
So I feel like I'm still paying back these student loans, but I'm not reaping the benefits of it. But in time, I know will. But I think that's the disappointment that
Do you think
feel like
you will?
You're getting.
Do you really think you will?
I feel like I will, but it won't be in the area where I got the degree from. It's going to be.
That's where I am too.
Yeah. So I think that's what it is. They saying get your degrees. You got them, but is it really serving the benefit to me right now? So that's the biggest disappointment.
Mine was when I first went to college, I should have did what I'm doing now, and just I've been in my books, knocking them A's out. I was trying to be cute. I was trying to get voted best dressed. That was what I wanted. I wanted to be the guy on campus that could dress.
Money to be voted.
No, I didn't pay it. Yeah, that's the problem. I ain't pay it.
Yeah.
See, my mom was paying it, but I just messed up. I messed up. But I think that's the biggest. I just think sometimes how my life would be much different if I had gotten my mind together. And still at this age, and I am now, I'm still like, my vision is so clouded right now because I feel like I'm going into a different season in my life. And like you were saying with your degree, I feel like now I'm like, what I really feel like I'm going to do has nothing to do with what my degree
Well, you know, there
is
was a show that you had a while back, and they were talking about transferable
yeah,
skill set.
Yeah, I keep thinking about that show,
you know,
too.
And I think that we have to think about that.
Yeah, nothing wasted, pretty much.
Right,
basically.
you know, because disappointment and regrets are two different things.
Uh-huh.
To me,
Yeah.
a regret is when you mourn opportunities or you mourn choices or consequences how you did them. But a disappointment could just be something that let you down and made you feel a certain type of way adversely, you know. So I think that however you all will eventually see now or later the things with your degrees and all the things you've done, but there's so many transferable skills. There's so many things that you've had to take to put you in every different area.
I do believe that, but one thing this lady did say to me when I did apply for this job, and she was talking about different things and the reason why I got it, and she said, I got it because of my references. She checked my references, and all three of them said the same thing, and she was happy. And I said, well, you know, I said, yeah, I know I got the education. She said, well, yeah, education made you able to apply, but your references is what got you the job.
Right.
So it's like, oh, okay. So you really can't even apply for certain jobs without the education.
Without the credentials.
So that let you at least be able to put in the application. So that did hit home. But I do believe everything happened for a reason. Right now, maybe the education is not in play, but I know it's for
with
where
your
I'm
big
going in the
scheme of
future.
things.
Exactly. You just don't know what it is right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mr. Producer, what's your major?
Communications.
Oh, communications.
Yeah. He on the right scale.
It's communications. Okay. And what do you want to do?
Maybe radio. I'm still exploring different things.
Okay. Okay. So that was my major too, communications. Are you? What was your concentration?
It was broadcasting.
Broadcasting.
Yes.
Okay. So we had the same one.
That was my major too when I was in school.
Okay. Well, you've already done it with Fox of 43.
Yeah.
And I know Face
of 5.
What did I say? Fox of 43.
Yeah,
same
Face.
thing.
Yeah, same thing.
You're a Fox, so you know.
I mean, you know, I ain't gonna argue that.
So, yeah. Well, so I guess like you said, there are no really disappointments. We just don't really we haven't seen the full benefits of those degrees yet.
Right.
I hope it's before I finish paying off that student loan though.
Are you almost finished?
No. You got a master's. You got a lot of money paid out. You done got that master's degree.
Don't tell me.
I ain't running track. I'm not able to get on scholarships or nothing. So
I've been looking for them too. I joined this little thing. I paid them. I know they're not looking for nothing, but they're supposed to be trying to find me a scholarship.
Right. You see, the first time around when I was in school, I was on financial aid and scholarships. I don't know how that's gonna work this time when I try to go back. I hope I can get some scholarships because I don't like money I have to pay back. That don't gonna work for me.
Well, just keep going back to school. Get your PhD.
Well, no.
Doctor.
Dr. Arrington.
Yeah. Okay, grudges. I want to talk about grudges.
Okay.
Kelly Ripa. You know Kelly Ripa?
Yes.
You remember Kelly and Michael?
Yes.
Okay, well, you know how
Haley Santos,
Michael did that to Kelly, and she got kind of upset. You know, she had to go on vacation for a week. She's still upset. Well, Ryan Seacrest, you know, they're re-airing the what is it called? American Idol?
Yes.
And they have, Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, and Lionel Richie. Those are going to be the 3 official judges.
Lionel Richie. Come on now.
Hello. Is it me you're singing for?
Katy Perry getting $25 million. Lionel Richie's getting 10, and I think the Luke Bryan is getting 15.
I saw something about that because people was complaining that he is the biggest star, but he getting the less money.
Who is?
Lionel Richie is getting the less. Who
said Lionel Richie?
He gained weight.
He's the biggest notoriety in our time, probably, but that's what they were saying. Why is he getting less money? He's getting 10 million.
I think he's getting 10.
Here's my platform. This is why people talk about black people. Lionel Richie is not the biggest star in those 3 names.
Yeah. Katy Perry. I mean, Katy Perry is.
Katy Perry is the biggest.
She's what's most relevant right now.
Right.
Back in about 70s, he was. I remember that afro.
In America, they had a poll.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he was supposed to go. Ryan Seacrest was supposed to go on the show to promote and to announce the judges.
Right.
Well, Kelly got a little upset when she found out about it, and she called. Evidently, she called him, and she was like, "You can't do the show," because remember last time when Michael went over there, they lured him over there, and he left to go to the show. So anyway, he ended up at the last minute canceling to go on the show. And they say that he did it basically to stay in Kelly's good graces. Because at first, I think the ratings weren't that good when he first came on. So I guess he doesn't want to really mess up. So I want to know, still some bad blood between at least Kelly to Michael. I don't know about Michael to Kelly, but at least with Kelly to Michael. So, how, I know y'all are ladies, and not to be stereotypical, but how long do you guys hold on to grudges? Do you hold on to grudges? With their good Christian morals, do you...
Well, being a good Christian and having morals does not substitute you from having the flesh that your body is built.
But how long?
I don't think that I don't think I hold grudges, but I do think that there are areas in my life, at least, that I may not have always taken a fair amount of time to get the healing I may have needed, or sometimes when I was younger, when the invention of that trendy word closure, everybody felt they had to have closure. Oh, I've got to have closure, then I'll be good. You don't need no closure. You just need to move on. So I don't think I hold grudges, but I do know that I have to give myself time to get over whatever it is. Because what happens is the same thing with unforgiveness. I'm jacking myself up, and I guess with women, there's a book, maybe one day we'll have him on the show, the pastor at Mount Lebanon in Chesapeake. He wrote a book called Marriage Talk, and he says that women are circular and men are linear, and what he basically means by that is that there are so many things that trigger things for women, and because we think in circles, if you will, and things keep coming back around, maybe that's why women hold grudges more than men do, because you leaving the seat up, it's not just about you leaving the seat and I fell in. It's about you don't listen to me. It's about you're not considerate of what could happen to me. It's about so many other things. And so I think grudges, as we talk about on the Rules Relationship radio show and TV show, it's part of your baggage. Sometimes
that was a plug, but go ahead.
It was shameless. And so I think that women, unfortunately, I think I'm saying that to say that I think that we probably hold on to grudges because we're circular.
Okay.
So we hold on to things longer than maybe someone else does, because certain things trigger other things, and you may not give yourself the time to move on and get through it like you need to.
What about you?
I think I try not to hold grudges, but women are emotional people. We wear our feelings on our sleeves, and we're emotional. So therefore, we hold things in because we take it personal. Men don't. Men are not emotional people. They don't hold things.
Wait.
They are not. They are not emotional people. He's saying they are not. As a producer, he's not like we're not. They're not.
Hold a grudge. I mean, depends on how close you are to me, but I can hold a grudge.
You can hold a grudge. Okay. Yeah. We hold it. We just hold longer. Like you said, we want closure. We want this. So I think we hold on because we're emotional. Like you said, we think about everything around what you did, and sometimes it's not even about what you did. It's about everything.
Y'all bring up old stuff too.
Well, I don't do this anymore, Will. I mean, because it started to jack me up, So another moment of transparency. So y'all know I do comedy. So my sister and I was on a comedy show a while ago, and the producer of the show, there was some difference of opinions, like when we should leave the stage, and there was a lot of bitterness, and so whenever how Facebook always says a memory, whatever. Yeah. Every time that thing would come up, I would do dumb stuff, like I untag my name, write dumb comments like, "Please stop sharing this and take my name off it."
From the promoter, from the place,
doing stupid stuff. But then I'm the one that looks stupid. I'm the one that looks goofy, And so, but I was holding a grudge, And if they were having a show or something, and somebody was like, "Oh, I'm going." Don't go there. don't go to that show. But it's pointless because it doesn't matter how valid we feel. It doesn't matter what we can justify, I think that it's not about being a bigger person. It's about being a better person to yourself. Yeah. And, when we hold grudges, we hold ourselves back and up from what is intended for our lives.
Okay. If you say so.
I say.
You
So I say.
So. You say so. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that, then let's go to this. Okay, listen to this quote. Trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. Trust. So I want to know, once it's broken, can it be repaired? Let's think about the situation that we talked about. Kevin Hart and Melania Trump. Did we talk about Melania Trump?
We talked about Melania.
Okay, well, Kevin Hart.
Well, I have an exercise. I'm glad you said that. They can't, I mean, some of the people can see us. So when you see my hands, both of you are, when you see my hands go like this, I want you to clap, okay?
When I see it go like what?
When you see my hands separate,
okay,
I want you to clap, okay? Okay, trust was broken. So the last time you wouldn't even clap because you wanted to watch my hands. So it's just natural for us to be more observant of things once trust is broken. And so I think the level of whatever that thing is, that trust is, you just have to recognize that once it's broken, it has to be rebuilt. And whether you choose to rebuild it or not is up to you. Sure. But I mean, I think we all did the same thing. You know, it's natural to now, I'm going to trust you in the beginning, you know, but then I'm going to be wary or I'm going to observe, you know, what your intentions are from that point on.
There are also different levels of trust.
They are.
Yeah.
There is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, Kevin Hart took a car away, you know, because I did something. That's the one thing. He cheating, I'm be a little leery. But my...
To what? To trust them again?
To trust them again.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to have to... that means...
So do you believe...
looking at your
do you
phone.
believe once a cheater, always a cheater?
I do.
You do?
I do, because like she said, it's something in I do once a cheat over you because it's just in you. It has nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like she said, the girl bad. I mean, I think her
sometimes
family
it
came
does
from
have
money.
to do with them.
Her
Sometimes
family came from money, so it wasn't like she's in it for the money. And I heard she got the bond prenup.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So it's like, why did he do it? Because it's in him. But they say if he cheated with you, he's going to cheat on you. But she thought because she was bad and probably, you know, doing what she do, that it wasn't going to happen. But it had nothing to do with her. So she should not trust him again. Wow. Because it's going to happen again. Until he get himself taken care of, it's going to happen again.
So suppose that's true with something in them. Suppose this was the episode that really shook him up. You know, maybe he really felt her much more than, what's the other, Tori?
Yes.
Tori. You know, he's given birth to this child, and you know how old is he? 100 or something. How old is Kevin?
43. I don't know.
He's at this age, and you know, this was it. This really scared him into it. So, what about that?
Well, it reminds me of Eric Benet. You know, when he had the sex addict stuff, and you know, Halle Berry was on that award show. For many nights you sing that song to everybody else, but tonight it was my night. You know,
did she do that?
She did. It was like an Essence Award or something, and he and Tamia sang "Spend My Life with You," and she snotted and all this stuff. Anyway,
bad acting again. I'm sure.
It was. You know, poor Halle. But we can talk about Halle. But anyway, here's the thing. I agree with what you're saying, that sometimes something has to happen to change whatever that behavior is, so that this person does not continue to repeat whatever it is that's inside them that continues for them to go that way. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like Bobby Brown from things that we read, watching the New Edition movie. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until he understood that he was manic depressive, that he suffered from that, that he know eventually, because it took him a while, that he made different choices of what he put in his body and the people he hung around with and things like that. So I think it is an individual thing that person would have to work on. But and with trust, if you decide to stay with someone who has broken a trust to that manner, if you decide to stay, there may be hoops they have to jump through, but you shouldn't give them fiery hoops. You know, you can't be like Tasha on Why Did I Get Married? I know his resting heartbeat. I know if he's not, you know, you can't be like that. You know, because then maybe you're just, and it's okay. Maybe you don't have the capacity to rebuild that trust or rebuild a new trust.
But you know, Will, I think you're right a little bit as I'm thinking about it. Kevin Hart didn't have that notoriety the last time he cheated. There wasn't no cameras. There was no nothing. So he got away with it. Now that it's put in his face and he know he cannot get away with it again, I think he's going to think twice. I think this time you're gonna think twice because everybody gonna want some money out the deal. So, but what I think what he should have did when he first got caught in the back of the car with her, should have said something then.
Oh, he got caught in the
Because
car?
it's the same girl.
First place when they
photographed them in the back of the
Oh,
car.
and he lied about that, and it was
Yeah, it was like,
squashed.
oh, he was talking to her, but people caught
In the
them
back
kissing
seat.
in the back seat.
Mhm.
This was the same weekend.
Mhm.
So I'm like, but like
Because
you
she said they were on the plane going to Vegas.
That's the second time she's seen him. She ran
Mhm.
into him. She ran into him a couple of times, but I think, like you said, now that he's this big Kevin Hart,
Right.
he knows everybody's looking at him.
Mhm.
This may be the incident to stop him.
I'm trying to figure out where they running into these people. Usher. Well, I don't really want Usher, but they running into these.
Why don't you
folks.
want Usher? Platform.
Platform.
Yeah.
I ain't babe do it.
Okay. All right.
I need to run into somebody. We
What-
ain't got to.
For some reason, our first guest was a no-show. But our second guest...
I was too loud. They
What-
didn't want to call.
Is that what it was? You scared them away?
I did.
Okay. All right. But you know what? Our first guest was actually our second guest.
Okay.
So we still get a chance to talk to Mr. Vernon Brown coming up in a few minutes. But I want to start this question. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a chance to finish it, but there was an article written that we talked about also on Sunday. And it was just saying something I don't believe, but it says well-educated women are finding themselves having to dumb down as far as dating. So date down, basically to avoid being single forever. They gave the statistic that 75% of women are at least medium level educated and only 31% of men. So to avoid, they were like in the past, highly educated women basically were single because men were, I guess, intimidated by them. So women are basically having to dumb down. Have you seen that? Have you experienced that?
No, sir. I have not experienced that. I did not see that woman. I did not see that blue dress. Here's the thing. I feel like people who say that they had to dummy themselves down or that men were intimidated by them, they're not taking responsibility for the air that they presented to whoever this man is. You know, because right.
Who you leading with?
Because I don't, and I know so many career-minded women, and they've had to humble themselves and not dummy yourself down. Humble to stop thinking that you are better than someone because something about their life is different than your life. We all, as we said before, we have different skill sets. We bring different experiences, you know. But if that whole attitude of I can do it all for myself. I don't need you for nothing. And so how anybody supposed to feel about that? You know, so it doesn't even matter if she makes $160,000 a year and he makes $160,000 a year. She gonna say the same narrative. I make the same amount of money you make. I don't need you for this. I think it's a humbling thing. I think whomever these women are, and you have to be willing to humble yourself. Now, I can say it wasn't an education, so to speak, thing. In my relationship, my husband and I came from two different, as they was, I guess, two sides of the tracks, you know. And I was a minister when we began to date, and he wasn't, you know.
Did he go to church?
He went to church. You know, he was on the greeting ministry and everything.
Did he greet you?
He did.
Too well.
He did. It was real well. But anyway, I'm this bland. I'm not. Platform. But anyway, when we were dating, you know, I let him know from the beginning. I have a very strong personality, and I can be over the top, but when we are together, I'm in the back. You know, it's not about Rhonda trying to overtake you. You know, you start the conversation when we would be in different settings with different friends and stuff like that, and sometimes he wouldn't always feel comfortable.
Let me interrupt you
speaking
right
up.
there then. So that's not dumbing down? If your personality is to be an extrovert, you become an introvert to allow him to...
No, I didn't become an introvert, but I didn't take over the conversation. You know, I'm not going to sit here and be the center, and this is not me toot my own horn. People are automatically drawn to me, so I don't need to go and find people.
Excuse me, go ahead.
I mean, you know, you got to represent what you know. You know, be confident. You know, I mean, I'm trying, honey. But, you know, and like and then once we became married, you know, I believe what the word says about wives submitting to their husbands. And me being a minister doesn't mean that now I'm the spiritual leader of this house. You know, God made it real clear that the husband is the spiritual leader of the house. And so it didn't matter that we had different levels, you know. So I think for me, some things were humbling because there were things that maybe I had experienced or had been revealed to me that maybe he had not been aware of. But that's when you got to, for me, you got to take that into prayer and have God guide you as to how you work. So it's not always about money. It's about willing to humble yourself, not dumb yourself down. And you don't always have to be the main attraction.
Okay. True. I believe don't overlook anybody.
Right.
Don't overlook anybody. I mean, I've seen where I remember I had an incident when I was younger before I got married, and I was making some decent money, and I seen this guy at the bus stop, and I was stopped at the light, and I was in my car, and I stopped at the light. He was at the bus stop, so you know he trying to holler with him. I'm like, dude, you at the bus stop? I mean, really?
Suppose his car was in the shop.
And that's what it was. So now, a couple of days later, I've
Just
seen
like
him.
me.
Had a nice car and everything, and I'm like, because I prejudged him, I'm thinking, I'm not, dealing with you. You're at the bus stop. So I always say, never look nobody. Me and my girlfriend just had this conversation the other day. She's making a good salary, and she said the guy at McDonald's was trying to holler. So I said, well, how do you know if he wasn't a manager? Now, I don't know if anybody looked up the manager's salary at McDonald's lately, but they starting out at $50 for a manager's salary.
For real?
Yeah, to manage the store. And so if you go to their management training, they starting out. So what if this person is working from the ground up, about to buy himself a franchise, but I'm overlooking it because I'm looking at you inside of McDonald's? And she was like, well, I have to think about that because, I'm just graduating my degrees, and he really don't have anything, but he has good business sense. Look at that. Look at the business sense. So I don't think you should overlook anybody, but I do believe what you lead with is what people gonna go for. Right. Many guys like, oh, well, they only want me for my car or my jewelry or my money. That's what you lead with. You showing your car, you showing your money, you showing your jewelry. What else do they have to look for or want? Right. So people gonna go after what you leading with. Right. So I don't think you should have to dumb yourself down. You got your stuff for personal reasons. You got your stuff because that's what you wanted. So enjoy what you wanted, but don't put it over the next person.
Yeah, and I just think that once people find their authentic self, that you are comfortable with that authenticity, then you will be able to be found, or you will connect with, whatever your verbiage, with whom it is that you're meant to be with, and that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, and also I think sometimes, like you said, I don't know about dumbing down, but some stuff you don't have to put out there all the time.
Right.
I remember when I was looking for a job, I had all my degrees up there, but people wasn't calling because I was overqualified for this job. So sometimes I had to take stuff down. I mean, I didn't dumb down myself, but I had to take off that master's degree because first of all, they ain't gonna pay you for that. Even though you got a master's, they don't look for a bachelor's. You only getting bachelor's pay. Right. You're not getting a master's pay. So sometimes you just gotta scale it back a little bit. Yeah, them jobs out there. I'm like, oh, I got a master's here, but we only paying bachelor's. Right. We don't give you that. That's not required. So you don't have to be out there saying you got this, you got all this money, because the right person is gonna come along anyway. Right. Whatever you put forward is what they're gonna go after. Cause my friend did that on a dating site. She had to take off some of her stuff because it made a man not want to approach her because it's like, well, dang, what I got to offer? Because we don't value men no more. Men are there, like you said, with that syndrome of I can do it all. Men want to be needed, but if you're not showing that you're needed.
What made y'all? What's wrong?
When women start burning their bras in the 70s. I mean, I think you came.
I didn't sign women's rights. I was gonna put that out there. I did not sign that thing. I like male stuff. Right. I like chivalry. I like that.
Me too. I think it's just the evolution of the times that we have been living in. It didn't just happen overnight. It's been in the 80s, the 90s. With the songs, you got to have a J.O.B.
Scrubs
Scrubs, and
we run the world.
Right.
Girls,
So
Girl
when
power.
we were empowering ourselves, somehow the message got missed.
Okay.
And so therefore we have a generation or a movement, if you will, of women who feel that they can be sufficient without a partner in their life.
Yeah, and I think like back in the days, like you said, women years ago, when our grandparents was there, they had to stay with the men because they didn't have any education, they didn't have any money. Now it's like women was, because of that generation, they put in my mind, make sure you have your own money. Make sure you have your own money. So that's all embedded now. Make sure, because they could not get out of a relationship. That's come even back then when men cheated back then, but the women stayed with them. There was kids all over the world, you know, in the areas around the corners. Grandparents had, you know, around the corner, but the parents stayed there because they didn't have any education. So they started putting in us, make sure you have your own, so we don't have to stay with the men. So, and that's what it all came into it. Make sure you have your own. Make sure, even being married and having a bank account. Your mother always say, make sure you have your own, because you never know when something's gonna happen.
Right.
That's always embedded in us. So it's like, okay, now if you have your little stash on the side, you don't tell your husband, are you lying, or are you just preparing yourself?
Right. It's, you know.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So should you have a stash? It's busy.
Bring it. Busy, son.
Yeah, should you have a stash?
Well, you know,
because your parents tell you that. Have some more money on the side.
Right, and it's like a rainy day, you know, because you don't want to be caught out there. Something happens. But where's the real planning or the faith in the relationship if I'm doing that? You know, if I'm having my own thing over here, I don't believe in that kind of stuff. And I know a lot of my girlfriends who do, and nothing against it, but I don't. I don't believe in saving my own thing in case things go wrong.
So you don't believe in prenups either?
No, I don't believe in prenups either. First of all, what in the world do I or whomever I marry have that needs to be prenup? You know.
Well, you don't know.
You're right, I don't know. But I wouldn't believe in a prenup either for that same purpose, because
suppose you were the breadwinner.
If I was a breadwinner, you know, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Okay.
My whole thing about money, the money has its value. You know, it buys things, it can create wealth. One of the articles that you sent us, you know, our communities don't have enough of wealth.
Yeah.
We don't have enough of old money in our communities and things like that. So money, there's nothing wrong with money, but we have to understand that relationships have got to have a bigger and deeper foundation than who makes the most money or who is the only one making money.
Like you said, so that, but we pushed women make your money.
Right.
That's where women power came from. Women's rights. I mean, that's just what society.
They let us vote and we went crazy. No, I'm just playing.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. But yeah, I mean, we just got to do better.
All right.
Everybody got to go back to the Bible.
Go back to the Bible.
Go back to the Bible.
Okay. All right.
Or go and get yourself a South Carolina man that's going to do all the, you know, the chivalry, to open the doors.
South Carolina.
Yeah, exactly.
We just had a conversation about that. Does your husband open the door?
Yeah. I'm an old school value woman.
Did you tell him that, or did he?
He started that from the beginning, and I had to get used to it because I didn't really understand all the nice stuff he was doing. You know, open the door. I've never came out my pocket for anything, and it's like, okay, I'm wait for him to say something crazy. And I remember one time I was just opening up the door, and he said,
"Quiet storm."
Well, like, what are you gonna do? He said, "How am I gonna open the door if you keep running and doing it?" He said, "That's the problem, is you never appreciate a good man. But if that's not something you had before, you know, that's not something you used to." But he's always done that because his parents do that, and I always let him every door.
So he was raised that way.
He was raised that way, and the old school
That's
values
the problem.
were him
I'm raised that way.
He was raised that way. Yeah.
I was like, what you waiting for? Come on, we gonna be late.
You better come on, girl.
Like the
what you
Megan
doing?
In that movie,
No, I do hold the door. Yeah. I do that, but as far as opening the door, come on.
You know, I work at a school, and it's K4 to 6th graders, and I was walking one of the 5th graders to his class, and he held the door for me, and so I thought I would give him a lesson in chivalry. I said, "Thank you. You were being so chivalrous." He was like, "What is that?" And so I explained it to him, and I said, "You know, that means when you're walking with a woman, you walk on the outside."
I don't even think that's even taught anymore.
And she walks on the inside. I said, he was like, "Why?" I was like, "In case something happens." He was like, "So I'm supposed to die?" Okay, you're going a little too far.
Yeah. Funny story. So, okay, I was at Mount Trashmore walking, and it was a client. We were walking because we were trying to lose weight. So, you know I'm afraid of snakes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were walking by the ditch. So I didn't want to get by the ditch.
Right.
So I went on the opposite side by the road, not knowing what you're talking about.
Right.
I just didn't want to get bit by a snake. She could get bit by it. So she was like, that was so nice. You went on the outer side so that I wouldn't get hit by a car. So that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want to get bit by a snake. But, okay, so here's another article. Why Modern Relationships Fail Revealed. People want partners to be everything. This was one of my issues. It says, we've been told to never settle when someone is searching for the one, but a new book suggests that we ask too much of potential partners, which has made sticking with someone much harder than before. There's a professor of Northwestern University named Dr. Finkel who says it's no longer enough to marry a nice man or a nice enough woman. People are expecting their partners to be everything to them. Dr. Finkel argues that many people are looking for partners to make them feel sexy, competent, ambitious, and aspirations. He says in order to have a happy relationship, we need to ask less from our partners and think of ways in which our friendships that we have can give us more. So less from our relationships, but more from our friendships. He says as well as recalibrating and decreasing the amount that we ask of our partner, in a marriage, we need to try and spend more quality time with them. This also means scheduling time in advance to do things together and stop trying to do relationships on the cheap. So I wonder, do you guys require, because you know what, I'm like a, what's the word? Not a groupie. But I watch your posts, you and your husband doing these kind of things. So I wonder, do you ask too much for him?
Well, we just had the Lord, everything. We just had the conversation because we was talking about the list that women have, and how people at his job had a lot of lists on, what they want from a woman and what a woman want from a man. And I said, you're never going to get everything in a man. What I prayed for was I want somebody that truly loves God, because they love God, then they're going to love me the way they're supposed to. Now, my husband's not a talker. I am. He's not an out social person. I am. So it's like, okay, I got what I wanted, but Lord, you didn't give me nobody to talk. So it's like, am I going to leave him because he don't talk? No, he doesn't like social settings, so he talk, with me. And when he's in the element, he's the elder in the church. Now, when he inside church, homeboy on fire. So it's like, I try to do what he likes to do, and he do what I like to do. Now, he don't want to do everything. Now, he ain't going to no fashion shows or all that, because he leave that stuff up to me. But you're never going to get everything in everybody. Now, I can have this long list. 6 feet. I want tall, dark, and handsome. I got somebody that's 5'1", that's an inch taller than me. Somebody that, I'm a fashionista. My husband puts on clothes. So, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's the one thing I ask for. I want somebody that loves God. I don't have everything, but I have what I needed.
Okay.
With you. I'm sorry, I was singing I Love God by Erica Campbell.
Sometimes it's what you need, not exactly what you want.
Right. There's a poem that when you join certain sorority and fraternities, and there's different variations, and it goes a little bit like this. It says, excuses are the tools of the weak and the incompetent. Those who use them seldom amount to anything but excuses. And I say that to say, we're talking about women say they can't find a man because you make too much money or you got more of a degree. Now we're not really happy in our relationships because we want everything from everybody. Nobody wants to do the work anymore. Nobody can no one person can be everything to another person, because we weren't even made that way. And so it's selfish. It is absolutely selfish. And I don't think that you need to, I disagree when he says, find it in your friends. Your spouse can be your friend, and they can even eventually be your best friend, But I have a different relationship with my sister. There are things that I get from her that I may not get from another friend. Then there's my friend Jennifer, who we have a great relationship that I don't necessarily will get things from her that I might not be able to get from my sister. And I would pray that when a relationship that I'm in with the opposite sex, that whatever I'm getting from him are things that are fulfilling something on a core level, and that I'm fulfilling something for him as well on a core level. And the same thing with all relationships. And this whole casserole of just throwing everything inside the dish, and cooking it up and hoping that it's going to taste good, is just silly.
So do you have a list, Will?
I had a list. And you know what? I'm a part of a Facebook group, and they asked that question, do you have a list? But I don't have a list. Breathing. I would prefer you breathing.
Right.
So God,
Human.
Whatever, He know what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just going through this metamorphosis is what I call it. So all these ancient things that I had, God's clearing them out. That's why He has me still.
Right.
Well,
I have a question for you all.
I also gave a list about
Did you?
I did.
Okay. I'm excited about this.
So
I said you're gonna have to be a fashionista. You're gonna have to be able to go to red carpet events. When I was pitching Will.
You were pitching him.
I was pitching him. So you're gonna you have to go to you have to have some decent clothes.
Right.
You're gonna go to red carpet events. You're gonna have to be outgoing, and then so I pitched them well.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm
excited.
I feel like opposites can attract. But so have you all seen? I think it's called the Bearded Gang or something. It's a Facebook group. Do you think groups like that invite foolishness in relationships?
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what it was about. A beard, I thought that was somebody that's a co-signer or somebody that's.
Well, no, they have beards.
Oh, they have real beards.
Yeah, not that kind. Not
it's
that
okay.
Kind of beard.
It's okay.
Oh,
You didn't know.
I didn't understand it.
Not the cover up relationship.
Yeah, they all have beards.
Yes.
So is that a good thing?
I mean, it's just supposed to be the end thing. It's the
I hope they put the Mr. Steal Your Grandma because he's the baddest guy out there.
Yeah, but see, I think it started with just people posting pictures of men with beards. But now if you're at the Facebook group, and somebody added me, I didn't even ask to be added. But now people are saying, I mean, it's like almost like a dating site, you know. And
one of the ministers said that he had to remove himself because he said that he recognized the devil and it's not going to mess up his marriage.
Right.
People were hitting him up on his inbox.
Right. And
so our technician got a beard.
We're gonna put him in.
Oh yeah,
in the
we gotta add him
gang.
to the group.
Wow,
We're gonna add him to the
But have you seen Mr. Steal Your Grandma?
Is that the older guy that dresses really nice? Yeah, yeah. He's smooth. He dresses nice. It's really nice.
I like a good beard, it's nice. There's a name for that when you like beards.
Cougar? What? Lion?
Huh? I'm not a cougar. That's what you just said.
He said after Will said cougar.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the Kelly story. I had a part 2 for that. So this is something I'm sure that you ladies deal with. So like with Kelly and Michael, them having an attitude. Her having an attitude with Michael. Doesn't really want Ryan to be involved. So I have a question. So how do you handle when it's a group of girls, group of friends, and you and one of them fall out? I mean, I don't want to have anything else to do with you. So are you upset because your friends still are friends with her?
If I break up with her, if she's not my friend, she's don't need to be your friend anymore. Unfriend her on Facebook. No, I'm just playing, but only because Capris just made me feel real small for feeling that way. Thanks, sis. But initially I do if I have a huge falling out with the girlfriend, and I mean me and her, we were tight and it's big, and my other homegirls it's awkward for me. Can you just at least unfollow her for a couple of a couple of hours, stop liking their pictures. It's awkward for me. I'm not gonna stop being your friend, but it is awkward for me. I mean, I have friends now that we're not we might still be Facebook friends or we're not close anymore, but my other friends, I feel like you always liking their stuff, back off, but it's not a deal breaker, but it is uncomfortable.
Well, I have 2 things. If you're not gonna be my friend, I want you to still be my post because I want you to see how I'm popping. That's number 1.
Okay.
Now, 2 is
shut me down.
that's
You
right.
sitting there.
But 2 is I had that incident where I was friends with my BFF, which is still my BFF now, and her husband. We all knew each other from New York. They got into this altercation where they was getting divorced. But my friendship wasn't based on either one of them. I was friend with him and I was friend with her. So there was an incident where I still was talking to him. She didn't want me to talk to him anymore because I'm her friend. But I was his friend and it wasn't based off of you. It was based off our own friendship. They wound up getting a divorce, I still was friends. I went to his wedding. to his new wife. But they're friends now. They're friends now. Now, she did stop talking for a while. We wound up getting back friends, but they're friends now. So.
And the issue with that is now you're looked at awkward, probably.
No, because I stayed friends with both of them. I didn't.
Regardless of what she said. Regardless of
because
that
my
was
friendship
upset.
with him wasn't based on her. It was based on my own friendship. Because we all knew each other from New York. We all from New York.
Yeah.
So therefore, no. I mean, we friends now. We all laugh and joke. We all go to football games together. So I mean, now if I were to stop talking to him, because he's more like a brother. Even in my wedding now, he did my toast because he's like a brother to me. So I think that if your friendship is if my friendship is based off of, if I'm friends with you, Will, and I'm only friends with you because of Nikki, then that's wrong. I should have my own relationship with you. Right. I shouldn't be based off of that.
I don't know.
Look at
my situation is I would limit, because I'm not good at being phony. If I don't like you, you're going to know I don't like you.
Right.
Like the situation in the salon, like for some reason, like somebody would not come to me anymore, and they would come to, like, let's say Nate, and she would try to speak to me.
Right.
I would look through you like, who? I don't do that. I don't know.
Right.
Do I know you?
Right.
And that's permanent.
Right.
And the same thing, people would like leave him, go somewhere else and then come back and make an appointment with me. He does the same thing. So,
yeah.
That's how I feel about that one.
But that's hairdressing. So have you ever had
but it's just the.
So you, Nikki, and Paula. So if Paula stopped talking to Nikki and wants you to stop talking to Nikki, are you gonna stop talking to Nikki? Okay, because your relationship is based on just y'all, right?
But what if it's an event, like we all have to go somewhere together? What's the situation like? Is Nikki and Paula supposed to be phoning with each other? Does Nikki not come when I'm with Paula?
If you invited,
I think it's
awkward, but you're mature
right.
in business setting.
It's a level of awkwardness, but we have to grow up. Yeah. We've got to put on our big people underwear, right? And we have to just deal with it in a manner that we can get through it and then move on. But I don't promote fakeness. That doesn't, you don't need to do that.
I can have a conversation. I'm pretty sure I can have a conversation with you, and then still, hey, how you doing? And I don't have to carry the conversation. I got to speak because I'm, that's what I'm doing. But I don't have to have a conversation with him.
Okay. All right.
No, just don't do that.
All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with a little bit more, and then we're going to close out. All right. We'll be right back soon.
Let's face it, with Will Strayhorn and friends. We'll be right back.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat.
So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
You're now listening to Let's Face It with Will Strayhorn and friends. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Let's Face It Radio. I'm in the studio with my girls. We're having a good time. We need to get a camera in here to get the between the commercial break antics that go on. Capris, you got something you want to say? What is it about?
I do. I want to go back to our girl, as Ron said, Tamar Braxton. Tamar Braxton.
Wait a minute. Okay, so did you hear Nene Leakes is supposed to be joining the tour with them? She's going to be the host. I've never heard anybody hosting a concert, but she's going to host. I would like to see Tamar and Nene.
Open up and do like jokes. Cause she did a stand-up.
No, it says she's going to host. Well, yeah, she is. I'm sure she's. Well, hopefully she won't say nothing out of the way, because Tamar, like you just popped. She pop off.
Exactly. Well, the question I have is, she actually fired her stylist because she wanted to wear a $40 outfit, and her stylist felt that was beneath her, and she said her stylist made her feel like she was less than. Okay. So she wound up firing her. So my question is, do you make your clothes, or do your clothes make you? And does it matter how much you pay for your outfit when you put it on?
You make your clothes. You make your clothes.
I've never been materialistic. My daddy made sure of that when I was in 5th grade.
What do you mean?
And I wore a size 7.5 shoe, and that joker bought me a 9. I mean, you a growing dude.
You was flopping around the class.
Right, looking like a clown. I've been this height my entire life, So, well, not maybe even die, but so I've never been huge on thinking that you had to have that your clothes brought a certain persona to you. So I mean, that's mean.
Do you think that
shallow? I
also thought about, do you think that the way Tamar carried herself, she made that perception to her stylist? Because he's been a stylist a long time. Well, that you should be wearing only the best.
Well, she's stressed out. She got to give up her album career. Anything sets her off.
I would say anything will set her off. And unlike the two of you, I am not a Tamartian. Tamar got some nerve getting upset with somebody because they called her on. That's who she is. She walk around as if she cannot have anything that's less than a certain price. So
he was looking out for this persona that she's
I'm not even sure if he was looking out. I'm not sure this is the first time they've had this conversation. Like, he's reminded, remember you told me, don't ever let you do this,
Yeah.
And so now, like you said, she just
He'll be back, man. He'll probably be back.
When she came on Wendy Williams, she was like, hey, she wanted to give shoe cam. And she was like,
what's she, her cheating husband?
She said, well, I got on Bellagio boots. I got on a Chris somebody's. She named everything she had on, but I didn't hear her name that Forever 21 $40 outfit.
Right, so she ain't got no line like Gabrielle Union in New York.
So if your clothes really didn't make you, why did you have to mention that? Bellagio boots. I ain't know Bellagio had boots. I don't know who Bellagio is, but
she's trying to find sound bites to still make sure people know who she is, so she's leaving the spotlight.
I was sitting here quietly thinking, what is she up to? Is she trying to take the attention off of that, or what is it? What's going on?
Platform.
So, Will, when you went on when I remember seeing you on a red carpet, I think it was a red jacket or a pink jacket, something you had.
Red.
Red. So, out of that outfit, what was the most expensive part you had on?
My underwear.
You for real?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You have to protect. You have to protect things. Yes.
Your underwear.
70.
For a pair of underwear. Well, people do go to Victoria's Secret.
Men
to go to Victoria's Secret? They got men's stuff in there?
No. Oh, you talking about women?
Women do spend stuff in Victoria's Secret.
No, it's a line called Andre Christian, and they're just really sexy.
I know who named Andre Christian.
He might own these underwear.
Oh my goodness, I went to church with him. Anyway.
Yeah.
So your underwear was the most. See, and nobody's seen that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't mind wearing the jacket.
No, but just like, no, if you talk, it was a whole suit. It was actually a suit.
It was a suit.
Yeah.
Do you dry clean these underwear?
No.
Do you wash them in draft, the baby detergent?
No.
Okay.
I know. They're just.
Nikki
I'm gonna show you some pictures of them.
Okay.
But they're no, that was the most expensive thing. But I've worn, like, I have a pair of Christian Louboutins. I've worn to host an event. I don't like Michelle Obama. You mix and match pieces.
Exactly, and I think it's okay
Yeah,
to do that.
and I think when you get to the point where she was calling out labels and stuff like that, you're not used to it. So.
Well, she should be. I'm pretty sure people give her clothes. Tamar.
That's Tamar. That's not Tony. That's Tamar.
I think we're putting Tamar in the box she put her own self in.
Yeah, that's
you
it,
know,
that's it.
I don't think that she is whom she perceives herself to be. Well, I would like to bring up something that's been going on. We've been talking about a lot, and we've been dealing with it for almost a year now with the whole Colin Kaepernick with taking the knee, and it's got to the point now where I think people forgot why he originally even sat, and then he went to the knee. And some people made it about football. A lot of people now are making it about the national anthem. A lot of people are making it about the flag. And we all know it was never, well, I can't say we all know. So I want to remind people that it was a way to bring attention that while we can sit and be comfortable and think about all the civil liberties that we have, there are people who are losing their lives every day off of injustice. And he used that as a platform to do that. But, so I want to say that. And then the second thing I want to say, I would like to read something to you all. The Supreme Court ruled in 1943 with the West Virginia Board of Education versus Barnett that no one has to stand or participate in any patriotic ritual to include the pledge or the anthem. When Americans serve, they take an oath to defend the Constitution, not the flag.
Okay.
So we've heard many narratives, and you know, we have people from the military to get their say and their take on everything. But the bottom line is not singing the national anthem, not saluting the flag, not taking your hat off for the flag. You know, those things are not non-patriotic. You know, and it was ruled in 1943 that you can't even be called, you know, treason. It can't be non-patriotic. It's not a thing, because that's not where the allegiance lies. It lies with the Constitution, and military. Our military protects the Constitution and the right and our rights, all the rights that the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all of that. Nothing about the flag.
Yeah. Well, Kaepernick, when he first did it, that was just his form of defiance, because he was just, that was his reality of being a black man, and that's just how he chose to do it. And then all the other people just jumped on board and said, okay, he's doing this. This is what it's going to mean. I think it would be a much more effective way if we're trying to bring attention to, like, the police brutality and the inequalities, for racial inequality, for us in our own way, to think of what way we can be make an impact in our own industry, whether it's, you know, that was his, not doing that during the game.
A friend of mine was in the airport, and she said that some army, some soldiers came back, and and they announced, you know, for them to sing and salute them, and she felt conflicted. She said, I didn't know if I should sing, I didn't know what to do. And I said, personally, you singing or not singing, it wouldn't. What's the stance you're making by not singing or saluting these people who are coming back? This is about them. That moment directly was about these soldiers who fought whatever, and they came back. You know, so when we do that, we're making this about the military, which it was never about. You know, and we do need to, I agree, like what you said, we need to start taking real stands that will translate to real action and things changing in whatever way we can where we are.
Exactly.
I'm just upset about, you know, where was everybody at when Kaepernick first took the knee? You know, to me,
it wasn't popular then.
Everybody responded to what 45 said as a saying, we're going to show you that you're not going to be doing to the football people, rather than taking a stand with him. if all these people would have took the knee with him in the beginning, he probably still would have had a job.
Does he have a job yet?
No, he doesn't. But
After all
everybody
this,
took this knee because now all these players are taking this knee to disrespect what 45 said. To me, that's all it's about, because nobody else took the knee until he said, calls you the name sons or whatever. That everybody want to say, since he's that son, we all going to be that son too. You're not going to disrespect one person. But they should have took that knee when Kaepernick first took the knee. So to me, it's not even all about Kaepernick. It's about, we going to show you 45. Yeah. And that's what I was more upset about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that we need to stop in me sounding like, love is the answer. I do believe that. I think we
Did you have a song you wanted to sing?
I did.
Okay.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, but we've got to change our focus. And I did not vote for President Trump, and you all have heard me. I have not referred to him as your president, as 45. He is President Trump. Mm-hmm. It does not matter if he's doing what kind of job he's doing. Mm-hmm. He's President Trump. He may be the worst president per a lot of opinion and per a lot of fact, but he is President Trump. And I believe that somebody has got to set the example of what respect looks like, what forgiveness looks like, what grace looks like, and what it looks like under fire. And talking about him and retaliating in the sense of making a stance because you don't like what he says.
And that's what it was.
What is that? What are those things going to do to change some things? So people need to start coming.
You know what you sound like? You sound like Tina. Because if you would have read the rest of her article, this is what she said. That he was still president and there was a certain amount of respect that was due the office, and she hasn't agreed with much that he's done. So you do sound like, so you should probably expect.
Yeah, and it goes back.
You should probably expect some email, some things like that.
My platform.
Yeah. Boycotting. Because
we have some questions. What were they?
There are more comments here. This is Instagram Live.
Instagram.
Oh, okay. Yes. We have someone that says when Capris was speaking, they said, exactly, people follow trends, not justice.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
I believe this is the beautiful twin sister to Miss Rhonda.
Hey, girlfriend.
She says, hey, Ron.
Okay. What were you saying? Were you saying something else? Or who was it talking?
It was me, but I totally forgot.
Okay.
But I mean, you're right about the taking a stand and the Tina. Oh, I was saying about church. A lot of people don't like certain elders who's put in office or certain pastors, but you got to respect the office. We're taught in church, regardless of whether you're like that deacon or elder, you have to respect the office that they're in. So I think when Ron is talking about is regardless of who likes them, the office of president is what we have to respect. But another thing I think is he don't even respect the office up that he has. Because if he do, then he wouldn't do certain things. So I do understand what you're saying.
I don't even
respect the
think
office.
he
don't
well, number
understand
one, we
the
know
office,
that
or
he did
don't
not
respect
expect
the
this.
office.
I feel like it was a bet that went too far, but
Yeah.
President Trump may or may not, I lean towards may not and will not, mobilize our country to be unified. We are not, and we had a lot of problem with black people who didn't like President Obama because he didn't have enough of the black agenda.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the black agenda, it's not the white agenda, it's not the Asian agenda, the Korean agenda, it's the American agenda. And we've got to start coming together because we don't have time because the show is out, but there are some real travesties that we are facing.
Yeah.
Like there's an article that you had that said, like, it might be like 40 years from now, but that we're going to see our brown people, Hispanics and black Americans, and that we're going to see that we won't have wealth.
Yeah.
That we're going to be, and even though it'll be 10 years after what used to be minority will now be majority, but we will have the least amount of wealth, the least amount of influence. And so to know that, what can we do to start changing that tide? We see all this hate out here. We didn't talk about it, maybe because it was country, but we didn't talk about Las Vegas. This man, this 66-year-old man ended all these lives for what? And people want to know what the motives are. Who cares what his motives are?
Yeah.
We are living in a time where hate is popular and it's celebrated. And we keep trying to figure out hate, but hate has the same motive. Hate.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter. So
Crazy.
we've got to come together and unify on every level.
Because everybody expected the president to do it, but I'm thinking back now. Has any president ever done it?
Well, I really believe that the head sets the tone.
It do.
That we're to follow, and I believe that he definitely that's not a priority of his.
Who set the tone? Because we thought that President Obama was going to do it for us, for the black folks, but then you had a lot of black
I didn't
folks
never think
against him.
that. I knew that wasn't his job.
There's a lot of people.
A lot of people did feel that way.
That did feel that way. People that never voted before.
Mhm.
That probably was their first time voting. Voted for him because he was black and said, okay, well, he's going to do it for us
Yeah.
now. It was doing it, but these people that never voted before.
Yeah.
And they didn't bother to come back out.
Right.
And we see the result.
Right.
Because they thought that he was going to be the savior all in all because it was never an African-American president.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. So people have to understand he wasn't the savior. He's not going to be the savior. So even if you do have a woman or whatever, you know, I love Maxine Waters, but if she run, do you think everybody will vote for her? No.
Well, Oprah said that she's considering, and we're going to vote for her. I'm going to do a big campaign.
Yeah.
We're going to do a party right here, and
Oprah,
she's going to
she
win.
said that?
And you're going to vote for her. You get a vote. Yes.
You get a vote. We all
Yes.
get votes.
But, okay, we have 5 minutes left in the show. I'm going to leave on a high note. So
Yes.
I want to ask you, ladies, a couple fun questions. Well, 2 fun and then 1 kind of serious. But I want to know, what is something that a ton of people are obsessed with, but you just can't get the point of it?
Snapchat.
Snapchat?
I think we've aged out.
I don't even think. I've never even done Snapchat.
Neither
I've
did
never
I.
done video, period, myself. You do Snapchat?
Yeah, it's like a generational thing. I think it's like
Right.
a little gap.
Oh, he's
Right.
saying
So he's
we're
basically
old.
saying-
Basically, we're old. That's
No,
what
no,
he's
no, no,
saying.
no. Because even I don't do it that much, but it's like the
Right.
younger.
Exactly.
They're the
That's what I'm
ones
saying.
that
I
are
don't.
really in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Is there something new now?
Yeah, it's like a fresh new thing.
Okay.
So not everybody's really bored on it.
You do it, don't you?
I have, but my daughter lives on it.
Okay.
And she says Facebook is for old people.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
What he said, yeah.
I've heard that before. What about you?
Yes.
What?
Something that a ton of people are obsessed with, but you just don't get the point of it.
Oh man. The music. Now I do sound like an old person. I don't know what it's called, but it all has that same.
What is that? What?
Yeah.
Trap music.
Trap. What does trap mean?
I don't know.
Wait, I think it used
Is
to
that from
mean,
an area?
I think it used to mean like drug dealing, but I'm not sure because considering Erica Campbell had trap gospel, I don't think you had drug gospel.
She said it was called trap gospel.
Yeah, that is what it's called.
I don't know. I mean,
I keep hearing. Do you know?
It's changed over time.
Right.
It did
Okay.
start out where it was like just the drugs, but now it's just everything. It's just everything bad.
just a style. Now it's
the
a
style
song
of
now.
yeah.
Right.
Just like what she said. Everybody sounds the same now.
Okay. What's the comment?
On Instagram Live, he said, "You shame me, Rhonda." You know who that's from, right?
I do.
What do you think? What do you?
Starbucks. I don't get Starbucks.
Oh, neither do I.
She said, "Don't
Starbucks.
overdo that cake."
Everybody is in love with their burnt coffee. Coffee. I don't.
Now I do have the K cups at home. That's because my husband
It's
has
popular.
bought them. So
It looks nice in my
the
kitchen.
Starbucks.
I have
I have a
that.
whole coffee bar, especially since 7-Eleven went up to
You do?
$1.55.
I'm not even a coffee drinker.
Coffee is. Coffee would probably be up there with me. I've just never, it didn't agree.
I think
with
it's
me.
a trend.
Well,
It's
I-
popular.
I
It's
do
cool.
it.
It's hip.
Just get it in my system. Yeah, exactly. Next question.
Okay.
Next.
Where would you spend all of your time if you could? Start with you.
Man, already me. The toilet. No, I'm just
Oh.
playing. I'm just playing. All of my time, if I could, somewhere with that perfect spring weather, where it's a nice breeze, but it's not too hot.
Like this weather?
Kind of, but it's a little too. This is more of the fall weather. I like the spring because the sun is shining on your face.
Okay.
So somewhere where I could just bask in that.
Okay.
That's where I would spend all my time.
Well, I love going to church events.
Do you?
I went to Holy Convocation 3 days last week. Wasn't even my church, but I kept going back because it was good. It was good. If I could spend, I feel if I could spend all my time, it would be at church.
Now, I used to love going to church events, but I would always, because I would drive. I was telling my mom because I don't like staying after church, but I would go to church events, and when you walk around for the offering, I would always leave after the offering because I like the music, but I just didn't like to hear him preach. So
Yeah,
I like the music.
I like the preaching.
You do?
Yeah, yeah.
Really? Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I like hearing a sermon.
You do?
Makes me feel good.
So if where would you go? Where would you spend most of your time if you could?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably be a basketball court. I'm a big basketball fan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I coach basketball.
You do now?
Yeah, I've been coaching basketball for 3 years. I've talked about that on this show.
No, you have not. Has she?
I don't know.
I don't recall that. I don't. You have for real?
Yes, but I have someone who's more skilled with the coaching part. I'm more of the encourager. But
She's
yes,
the yeller
I
in
do.
the court.
Okay.
You know.
All right. I think number one, the amusement parks. I went to Hollow Screen. Oh, we didn't talk about the 20-year age gap, but a friend of mine got me a pass to Hollow Screen, and it was fun. All I do is roller coasters. And then we did the haunted houses.
I don't do that.
That time, but if I could be at a roller coaster, if I could be at amusement park, she threw me off. Amusement park every day, I would do that. Second place would be a bookstore. I love books, like Books A Million, Barnes and Nobles. Right. That would be it.
You know what? One thing I didn't say this. If I could be in a musical, like I love music, like a Motown musical, like Motown, or just that time frame. If we could say something like that, I would love to just be stuck somewhere with Motown music. You know.
Are you an oldies but goodies person?
I am.
Really?
I am.
Are you an old soul?
I'm a very old soul.
You?
I like all music. I'm probably not the.
You like trap music?
No.
Okay.
21/7.
You be dabbing on them. Do they still dab?
They do.
Okay.
No.
I don't know. That's not the dab. That was. What's that? I won't do it anymore.
Well, I just want to say on record before we leave. This is totally off the topic.
Uh-huh.
I asked my child to be on her Instagram 2 weeks ago, and she has yet to accept me. I would like to be accepted on her Instagram.
Who accepts their parents on social media? Well, she might on that account. She'll probably do it on that account. Yeah.
We don't even have time to talk about that.
Okay, and my last question for you is, so we have 2 months left in 2017 already. A lot has happened in the country. I want to know, what has 2017 taught you, or what main lesson have you learned from the year so far?
Capris, go first.
What? It has taught me to follow my passion, and
okay.
Yeah, understand my worth. Because like Rhonda did, the last job I had, I took because I said, oh, okay, this is something I want to do. It's not paying that much. After realizing, no, I'm worth more. And to me, I felt like they was pimping me more than I needed to be. So I had to leave it because of the income. So I felt like they knew that I was overqualified for the job, but they knew I settled because I took it. So obviously I settled for the money, and I felt they took use of that. So as I started feeling like I wasn't worthy to them anymore, I had to leave.
Okay.
So to understand my worth when it comes to.
So you learned your worth in 2017, yeah.
Not in my self-esteem type thing, but I went to school for a reason. I didn't go to school to get a master's degree, not to make $28,000. That's not what I went to school for. And I took it because I said, I'm not going to let money dictate me. This is something I want to do. But then I realized the people took advantage of that. And I realized I had to go.
Okay.
What have I learned?
And if you haven't learned anything, it's fine to say that too.
I am Job. This is what I've learned. I've learned that that it's okay to have different. I don't know how to say it. It's okay to be wrong.
That's close to mine.
It's okay to be wrong, and to just stop being hard on yourself. Not saying that you let yourself off the hook, but I've learned to not be so hard on myself, and that it's okay to be wrong. It's probably works for you if you can admit that you're wrong sometimes.
I had all this time to think of something.
When you created a question.
Yeah. What have, because I like asking the questions, I don't like answering them. What have I learned? I learned that heartbreak lasts a long time. Lasts a long time. And sometimes you can do some really stupid things to try to get over it. But until you really sit down and wrestle with it face to face, you're going to still deal with it.
So that old saying that people just say the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else, that ain't true, right?
Well, I don't know that one, but
that's the old folks used to say.
that, I mean that was my answer. That's what I thought. And then nobody's ever good enough, and you're still faced with that once it's gone. So it takes a while. You have to face it. You have to grab it by the ears and the horns or whatever, and deal with it. Deal with it.
Right.
Ladies, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any social media you want to share? You guys have platforms you want to.
Yes, my platform.
Anything coming up?
I do. I will be. There's a candlelight service, 6:30 p.m. this Friday at First Church of Newport News Baptist on Wickham Avenue, obviously in Newport News, and I will be the guest preacher.
Oh, wonderful! Yes. You've been doing that a lot.
Yes.
Good. We're gonna have to come support you.
Yes.
Present you with something.
Please.
Okay. And
well, I don't really have anything coming up, but as always, you can follow me. You can go to my website, CaprisElmore.com. You can purchase my book there, Intimate Conversation with Women, How Several Conversations Transparent Me into Becoming Who I Am. You always can purchase that. And just follow me on Facebook.
Awesome. I did not know you had a website nor a book. Why is this my first time hearing about this?
No, I am a life coach. So when the first time I ever came on here, I came on the show as a guest.
Right.
As a life coach. And then the people was calling in and wanted me to come back. I did, Will.
Was I here?
You was. I did it on the phone. It was you.
You did. You're right. With Alicia.
And I like that guy, Nate. I follow him now. I don't know him.
Right.
But I
Go ahead.
follow him because
I'm holding you.
Because I interviewed him. Anyway, know him from here.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, that was the first time I ever came on. I came on as a life coach as a phone call. Then y'all wanted me to come back as somebody that's as a host. And I've been doing it ever since.
Yes, you're amazing
this
too.
Is for a reason. So hey.
You're right. Awesome.
I'm
awesome.
bucking for a permanent slot here.
Well, come on, man. You have been on point.
Yes.
Thank you. Next week, I don't know who to tell you is going to be on the show because we're going to have to rearrange some of the people who were supposed to call in today. But cannot wait until next week. We have another show planned for you for our number 2 show for season 6. It's been 6 seasons for the show.
Radio show.
Man, I'm so excited. So make sure that you tune in next week. Now, Nikki told me last week that I need to come up with something to close the show out with. And in the beginning, I had something, but it just made my throat dry. So I'm just going to revert back to saying that. So, just in life, you're going to have many choices. But the most important choice that you will ever make is when you make the choice to be bold. Be beautiful. Always make the choice to be you. Until next week, be blessed.
Thank you for listening to Let's Face It with Will Strayhorn and Friends. Please be sure to visit us on the web at letsfaceitradio.com and at Let's Face It Radio on Facebook for the latest in show information and exciting, innovating ways that you can be a part of the show. So tune in next week, same place, same time, for real people, real topics, real talk. Let's face it.